Dwayne Douglas Johnson, born May 2, 1972, also known by the ring name The Rock, is an American actor, producer, and professional wrestler who holds both American and Canadian citizenship, currently signed to WWE on a part-time contract. Johnson was a college football player for the University of Miami, where he won a national championship on the 1991 Miami Hurricanes football team. He later played for the Calgary Stampeders in the Canadian Football League, and was cut 2 months into the 1995 season. This led him to become a professional wrestler like his grandfather, Peter Maivia, and his father, Rocky Johnson, from whom he also inherited his Canadian citizenship. Johnson gained mainstream fame in the World Wrestling Federation, WWE, from 1996 to 2004, as a major figure in the company's Attitude Era, and was the first third-generation wrestler in the company's history. He returned to wrestling part-time for WWE from 2011 to 2013 and continues to make sporadic, non-wrestling appearances for the company. Johnson has 17 championship reigns in WWE, including 10 as a world champion, winning the WWE Championship 8 times. 7th reign was as WWE Undisputed Champion, and the WCW World Championship twice. He won the WWF Intercontinental Championship twice and the WWF Tag Team Championship 5 times. Johnson is the 6th Triple Crown champion in WWE history, and won the 2000 Royal Rumble. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. Johnson's autobiography The Rock says, co-written with Joe Layton, was published in 2000. It debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, spent 20 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list and sold 720,000 copies in hardcover alone. Johnson's first leading film role was in The Scorpion King in 2002's. For this role, he was paid $5.5 million, a world record for an actor in his first starring role. He has since appeared in various films, and become known for his ability to reinvigorate film franchises. Perhaps his greatest success in his acting career can be sourced to his role as Luke Hobbs in the Fast and the Furious franchise. He hosted and produced The Hero, a reality competition series, and has since continued to produce TV series and film through his production company 7 Bucks Productions, each of which he also stars in. Forbes listed Johnson number 25 in the top 100 most powerful celebrities in 2013. He is the world's highest paid actor of 2016. Time named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2016. In 2015, Muscle and Fitness named Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as their Man of the Century. Johnson was born in Hayward, California, the son of Otto Johnson and professional wrestler Rocky Johnson. His maternal grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, was also a wrestler. His maternal grandmother, Leah Maivia, was one of wrestling's few female promoters, taking over Polynesian Pacific Pro Wrestling after her husband's death in 1982, until 1988. His cousin, Savelina Fonine, is also a wrestler currently working for WWE. His father is a Black Nova Scotian, and his mother is of Samoan heritage. His father was part of the first black tag team to win the World Tag Team Championship in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. Through his mother, he is considered a non-blood relative of the Ine wrestling family. Johnson briefly lived in the suburb of Grey Lynn in Auckland, New Zealand, with his mother's family. He attended Richmond Road Primary School, before returning to the United States with his parents. Johnson spent 10th grade at President William McKinley High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. As he entered 11th grade, his father's job required his relocation to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He began playing football at Freedom High School in the East Penn Conference. He was also a member of the school's track and field and wrestling teams. Johnson was a promising football prospect, and received offers from many Division I collegiate programs. He decided upon a full scholarship from the University of Miami to play defensive tackle. In 1991, he was on the Miami Hurricanes national championship team, after an injury kept him sidelined. He was replaced by future National Football League (NFL) star Warren Sapp. While attending Miami, Johnson met his future wife, Dani Garcia, who graduated from the university in 1992 and later became a member of its board of trustees. She also founded a Miami-based wealth management firm. In 2006, the couple donated $2 million to build a living room at the university's Newman Alumni Center. Johnson graduated from Miami in 1995 with a Bachelor of General Studies degree in criminology and physiology. He joined the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League in 1995. He was on the practice roster as a backup linebacker but was cut 2 months into the season. On November 10, 2007, Johnson returned to the Miami Orange Bowl to participate in the festivities surrounding the University of Miami's last home football game at the stadium. Like his father and grandfather, several of Johnson's other non-blood relatives are or were professional wrestlers, including his uncles, Alpha and Sika Anoa, the Wild Samoans, and his cousins, Rodney, Yokozuna, Slofa, Rikishi, Matt, Rosie, and Eddie Umaga. When Johnson declared his intent to become a wrestler, his father initially resisted, but then agreed to train him himself, warning that he would not go easy on him. Veteran wrestler Pat Patterson got Johnson several tryout matches with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, in 1996. Under his real name, he defeated the Brooklyn Brawler at a house show and lost the other matches to Chris Candido and Owen Hart, after wrestling at Jerry Lawler's United States Wrestling Association as Flex Kavana, and winning the USWA World Tag Team Championship twice with Bart Sawyer in the summer of 1996. Johnson signed a WWF contract. He received additional training from Tom Pritchard, alongside Jim Albrecht and Mark Henry. World Wrestling Federation Entertainment Rocky Maivia, 1996–1997, Johnson made his WWF debut as Rocky Maivia, a combination of his father and grandfather's ring names. Although his real name was acknowledged by the announcers, he was initially reluctant to take this ring name, but was persuaded by Vince McMahon and Jim Ross. He was given the nickname the Blue Chipper, and his lineage was played to on TV, where he was hyped as the WWF's first third-generation wrestler. Maivia, a clean-cut face character, was pushed heavily from the start despite his wrestling inexperience. He debuted on Monday Night Raw as a member of the stalker Barry Windham's entourage on November 4, 1996, and had his first match at Survivor Series on November 17, in an 8-man elimination tag match. He was the sole survivor. WWF fans generally rejected him because of his cheesy character. At In Your House 12, It's Time, Maivia defeated Salvatore Sincere in his first singles match at a pay-per-view event on February 13, 1997. He won the Intercontinental Championship from Hunter Hearst Helmsley on Monday Night Raw. Maivia successfully defended the title at In Your House 13, Final 4 against Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and at WrestleMania 13 against the Sultan. He defeated Bret Hart by disqualification in a title defense on March 31st episode of Raw. On April 20th, at In Your House 14, Revenge of the Taker, he lost to Savio Vega by countout, retaining the title for the final time. Audiences became increasingly hostile toward Maivia, with chants of "Die, Rocky, die," and "Rocky sucks" being heard during his matches. Johnson married Dani Garcia on May 3, 1997. Their daughter, Simone Alexandra, was born August 14, 2001. On June 1, 2007, they announced they were splitting up amicably and intended to remain friends. Soon after the divorce, Johnson began dating Lauren Hashian, the daughter of Boston drummer Sid Hashian. They first met in 2006 while Johnson was filming The Game Plan, prompting rumors he left his marriage for Hashian. Their first child, a daughter named Jasmine, was born in December 2015. Johnson co-wrote an autobiography with Joe Layton, titled The Rock Says. It was published in 2000, debuting at No. 1 on the New York Times bestseller list and remaining on the list for several weeks. Johnson is a good friend of actor and former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has two nephews who play football. Kaluka Maivia played at USC and was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 2009, and his brother, Kai Maivia, currently plays at UCLA. Johnson attended the 2000s Democratic National Convention as part of WWE's nonpartisan SmackDown, Your Vote campaign, which aimed to influence young people to vote. In the same year, Johnson had a speaking role at the 2000s Republican National Convention and is a registered Republican. On May 21, 2015, Johnson set a Guinness World Record for most selfies in 3 minutes, taken 105 selfies with fans during the premiere of San Andreas in London. Johnson is a supporter of the Republican Party but is liberal on social issues. He is a Christian. In 1999, The Rock was listed at 5 on Entertainment Weekly's Top 12 Entertainers of the Year. In 2000, on an Access Hollywood's primetime special, The Rock was ranked number 6 in the top 10 celebrities of 2000. Rock was also listed in Forbes Celebrity 100 that year and People magazine's 25 Most Intriguing People. The Rock made a surprise appearance at the official Xbox unveiling during Bill Gates' keynote speech at the ongoing Computer Electronics Show in 2001. Rock was also listed on Entertainment Weekly's 101 Most Influential People that year and the previous year, 2000s. In 2002, Rock was listed on E!'s 25 Toughest Stars. In 2003, Rock was listed in VH1's 200 Greatest Pop Culture Icons and Sharp 13 on People magazine's 50 Favorite TV Stars. He was listed in the 2007's Guinness World Records as the highest paid actor in his first starring role, receiving $5.5 million for this movie. The Mummy Returns, featuring The Rock, shattered a Twitter record by earning $28,594,667, making it the highest grossing single day for any film in history. The Rock has appeared on the cover of many magazines, including Rolling Stone, Entertainment Weekly, Newsweek, and TV Guide. Legacy in wrestling. The Rock has been listed as one of the all-time greatest professional wrestlers, as well as one of the top box office draws in wrestling history. WWE legend Hulk Hogan called The Rock the biggest superstar in this business. 15-time world champion John Cena described him as the biggest superstar in the history of WWE, and the most successful WWE superstar ever. WCW icon Diamond Dallas Page described him as the biggest star in our business of all time. Vince Russo, the head writer of WWE's most popular era, the Attitude Era, stated, "I don't think there's ever going to be a star in the history of this business that is bigger than The Rock." Many WWE legends and superstars place The Rock on their Mount Rushmore of wrestling, including Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho 206 and John Cena. In Cablevision's Television Beyond Broadcasting, The Rock was described as for a long time. Many WWE legends and superstars place The Rock on their Mount Rushmore of wrestling, including Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho and John Cena. In Cablevision's Television Beyond Broadcasting, The Rock was described as for a long time the WWE's biggest star and probably held the greatest international appeal. R.D. Reynolds stated in his book The WrestleCraft Book of Lists that The Rock was the biggest star for WWE from 1999 until 2004. The Rock was also part of the highest-rated match of 2000, his steel cage match with Shane McMahon on May 1st to date, 3 rating on the regular time and a 9.1 on the overrun, making this match the most-watched professional wrestling match in the United States of this millennium. In 2011, The Rock's return generated a lot of buzz. An average of 4.7 million people watched that episode of Raw, but 7.4 million tuned in just during The Rock's promo. His return also led the following episode of Raw on March 7th to be the highest-rated episode of that year. In that same year, The Rock wrestled his first match in years at 2011 Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden. The event sold out in less than 90 minutes and was the highest-attended Survivor Series in almost a decade. Since 2002, The Rock was also part of the highest-rated Raw segment in 2012 in a segment on Raw 1000, with WWE superstars CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, which drew a 4.3 rating and was also part of the highest-rated overrun of that year, 4.4, the same night. The night after the 2013 Royal Rumble on January 28, which saw The Rock win the WWE Championship for the first time in over a decade, was the highest-rated Raw episode of that year. During that night, The Rock segment with CM Punk did a 4.03 rating, which was the highest-rated segment since Raw 1000. The Rock would also be part of the highest-rated segment of 2013 in his segment with John Cena on Old School Raw, which did a 4.1 rating. Rock headlined 5 WrestleManias, 15, 2000s, 17, 28, and WrestleMania 29, and wrestled in 5 additional WrestleManias in non-headlining matches. In 2011, he became the first wrestler to ever host a WrestleMania 27. The Rock was the first wrestler to win the WWE Championship 6 times, then 7 times. Rock's Intercontinental Championships reign in 1997-98 lasted 265 days and is the longest Intercontinental title reign of the modern era, the last 24 years. Rock is the only wrestler to introduce a different design of both the Intercontinental Championship, shortly after WrestleMania 14, and the WWE Championship, on February 18, 2013 episode of Raw. He was the youngest Intercontinental Champion as well as the youngest WWF Champion of his time. He is one of 3 wrestlers, along with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, to main event WrestleMania, in 3 different decades, doing so in the 90s, WrestleMania 15, the 2000s, WrestleMania 2000 and WrestleMania 17, and the 2010s, WrestleMania 28 and WrestleMania 29. He is also one of 3 wrestlers, along with Hulk Hogan and Triple H, to win the WWE title, in 3 different decades, doing so in the 90s, the 2000s and the 2010s. The Rock also holds the record for, tied with Stone Cold Steve Austin, in 2001. Rock was on the cover of the first 3 video games of the WWE game series, including WWF SmackDown 2. Know Your Role, which ended up being the best-selling combat sports game on a single format, with 3.2 million copies sold. He is also known as the Brahma Bull, the corporate champion, the Great One, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, the People's Champion. Rocky build, height 6'5" build, weight 260, eyebrow 118 kg.